PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. Hey, if you follow me on social media, you know I just did a 3,000-mile motorcycle ride. Somebody asked me why I went, and I got to be honest with you, I just needed to get out. So went on a 3,000-mile ride, rode from Texas to Naples, Naples to Daytona, Daytona back. By myself, no group. I got to be honest with you, when you spend 12 hours or more in the saddle of a motorcycle running at highway speeds, you get to clear your mind and think about a lot of things. So I was thinking while I was riding, you know, what are the things that I've got to do over the last 30 days? Well, one of the coolest things I've got to do is I got to have a conversation with 8 different regions for Toyota, the best of the BDC directors or managers. And we discussed several questions and what was going on, what the customers were asking, what the goal of the associates were working in the BDC, and what we're seeing the customers as we're coming out of COVID-19 and more places are opening up. Are the customers leaving digital and are they going back to traditional buying? And so I'll tell you, without giving you away what all I found, more and more people are being digital. So I threw up on the screen right here just several different ways. So if I'm buying a car right now, I don't know that I ask my friend anymore. I don't know if I call my parents up anymore and go, hey dad, hey mom, what's the best way to buy a car? I think all those things are getting shoved to the back. And I think what we're finding right now is more and more people are asking their relative Google or some kind of search engine. What are the best ways to buy a car? How to buy a car without getting ripped off? You know, so basically what these search engines are telling people out there is that you really need to be cautious when you go to a dealership to buy a car. Very rarely, gang, very rarely, and I'm going to be honest with you, very rarely do we sell a car for more than the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So if the MSRP of the car is $32,900, usually we sell the car below the $32,900. So there is a manufacturer's suggestion from Toyota, from Honda, from Hyundai, from Chevrolet, from Nissan, from Ford, that this vehicle should be worth X amount of money. Normally we negotiate at that number and go down. There's one price stores out there. Unless the vehicle is, I cannot replace that vehicle, it is so sought after that I'm one of the most fortunate dealers in the whole United States to have one of them in stock, then their starting price is below the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So what I'm saying to everybody watching this right now is, if there's a discount, then how are you getting ripped off? If there's a willing to negotiate so you feel comfortable about what you're paying for the car, how is anybody being deceived? Now get it, salespeople make their money by selling cars. They need that customer to say yes. They need them to fill the paperwork out and take delivery of the car because the majority of the sales professionals get paid that way. So it's important, and it gets to be, I know the customers are nervous, but if you're a salesperson in your dealership and you're not the top performer, so I did some investigation before I did this. And you know, most of the time I just tell you from experience, but I went online. I called my cousin Google and I said, you know what's the best states to sell cars in? You know, there's actually a site for that. They put the United States out there, lower 48, Alaska and Hawaii, and they rank them from number 1 through number 50 as far as incomes made by the average salesperson in all automotive sales. So if you're selling in state number 48, then it'll show you what the average is for the salesperson there, so you can kind of rate yourself above the average. Nobody wants to be average. So if the state says the average is 63,000 and you made 55, well then you realize that you're not even doing the average of your state. And these are numbers that they can get. That number's out there. You can do that research. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the income levels, and I'm looking at what the customers are being told. So I'll jot down a couple of things. There were so many sites, there was a million different things. So number one, best way is to figure out what you want to buy. So if you're a consumer, this genius site here says, figure out what you want to buy. So you want to buy a Toyota 4Runner. All right, so you got that narrowed down. How many places can I buy a Toyota 4Runner? Let me tell you something right now. There's a lot of places you can buy. Let's say I'm going with a new Toyota 4Runner. Now it's Toyota dealerships exclusive. Okay? So the next thing is they said, find out what features that you're going to need. You know, do you need gas mileage? You're going to drive it long distance. Do you need four-wheel drive? I mean, so the basic necessities are the function that you need the car to do for you. If you're commuting in a car and most of your commute is in slow speed traffic in the city, then you'd be ridiculous not to look at a hybrid setup in a car, because that's exactly what they were designed for. So again, that's pretty good advice. Duh. And the last thing is find out your budget. And it's so funny, you know, you watch shows on TV where people negotiate and they always ask people what their budget is up front. You know, I was always told when I first started, never ask somebody their budget. It doesn't matter whether you ask them what their budget is or not. They've got a budget figure in their mind. So what's the difference between bringing it from here to here? It's not very far. That's a couple of inches right there. So if they got a budget of $400 a month or a budget of under $20,000 or under $30,000, bringing it from here to here is not going to cause you not to sell the car. It'd be really nice to know that the customer has a budget of $300 a month if they're looking at $50,000 units. It'd be really nice to know that there's a hurdle coming down the track that you're going to eventually have to jump over. Fair enough? So my opinion, obviously I'm going to be wrong if you ask anybody. So that's number one. So you want to know what your budget is, you want to know what car you want, and you want to know what the car needs to do for you. That's pretty genius. So now we know the customer's been told that. Number two is you want to go to sites like Kelley Blue Book or Edmunds or TrueCar or something, because you want to find out what people are buying or paying for the car in the market area. What's a 4Runner selling for in my zip code? And you can put that in there and you're going to get a number. That's not a horrible thing. You know, that means the customer comes in, and if you get anywhere near that number on your first pencil, they're going to buy the vehicle because they've already decided that that's a good number. And if you explain to them that they're buying a Pro Series or Nightshade or something like that, an upgraded special package, then there's a premium for that package. But, you know, if you look at a base unit, then that price they had was a fair price. I don't think that's a problem that the customer's done a research and they know what the car's selling for in the market. So number one and number two, very simple. I picked the 4-stager instead of the 10 or the 20. There was one that was 60 things you need to know to buy a car. Come on. You know, number three right here, it says, reach 3 dealers for a digital price. And I don't know, is that bad advice? I call ABC Toyota and say, you know what, I'm going to buy a 4Runner. 2021, I want white, I want a Nightshade edition. You know, you have one in stock, I saw it on your internet, I want to know what the best out the door price is. And then I'm going to call 2 other dealerships in the market area, get the same price on that. So that's not bad advice. But so now I know that they're being told that. So if you look at any of these sites, they're all being told that. The first 3 things, every one of them are telling. That's why I did these 4. And number one, don't play hard to get. I thought this was pretty interesting. A lot of the sites said this. Don't turn and walk away. Well, I'll just have to walk away from this deal. It's not what I want. No, don't turn and walk away. Let me tell you something. I sold cars for a long time. I hated it when a customer started getting up. Everything, all the chemicals in my body started going the wrong way when a customer started getting up and looking out at their trade. And I was thinking that I didn't like that at all. I started getting real aggressive on trying to sell the car if they started to get up. But they're telling them don't do that anymore. I think that's fine if they're telling them that. They say, oh, I've got 100 friends and I will send them all to you. I have 140 million people following me on my social media site. I'm going to post this. And I realize how big social media has become in selling anything. So maybe that's right. Those are the 4 things that I picked right here. So now we know these are fact. So what are you doing? Let's do used cars first, because used cars are bigger than new cars. A lot more volume in used cars, a lot more used cars available around the nation than new cars. So what makes your used car different than anything else? I don't care what brand you're selling for. You'll have multiple brands in your used car inventory. Did each and every one of those used cars go through your service department? Yes or no? Do you sell a car at your dealership that was not inspected by one of your technicians? The answer is no. Why, when you're negotiating with somebody digitally, because they've been told to do all this, why would you not add something to their search that's not in the 1 through 60 or 1 through 10 or the top 4. I'm going to tell them the name of the tech. I'm going to tell them the experience of the tech, name of the tech, the experience of our shop, and the reason why you should buy the used car from us is because there was a real person in our dealership that I've just told you who it was. That's the person that inspected and approved your car for sale. I think that adds value to the car. Now I know the car's been inspected, and I didn't just say the car's gone through 160, 140, 110, 112 point inspection. I said John Smith, the technician at my store, is the person that did that. I think that is very valid. I think that's very valid. It said nowhere in the top 4 should you request a video from your salesperson. Doesn't say it. I looked at the top 10. I didn't look at the 60. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't going to read 60 different things. But I looked at several that said top 10, like this one right here, top 10. None of them said request a video from your salesperson. Ask your salesperson to go outside and do a quick video or a FaceTime with you and show you the interior, the exterior of the vehicle as the vehicle sits on your lot right now. Not a professional series of photos that we put on the website, which some of them might not even be the actual vehicle you're buying. Could be a stock photo. Think about it. Think about it. But real video walk around, ask them to pull the service history on the car. When the car came in from the auction or trade-in or wherever you sourced that car, it went through the shop, we opened a repair order, we closed that repair order, and there is a list of things that we inspected, replaced, or repaired on that vehicle before it came out there. I'm going to request my salesperson print that repair order and have that available when I arrive. I don't think a customer is ever going to ask you that because it's not in the top 4. It's not in the top 10. Probably not in the top 60, but I'm going to do it. If I'm selling a new car, those are just 2. I could give you more, but you guys get tired of these things being too long. Let me do new car. Okay, I've got the same new car they have all over the United States. If you're looking for an LE Corolla, you can get an LE Corolla anywhere you want to go. Every dealership's got one. And they probably all can either match the color you want or get the color. I love the deal where the customer is shopping for a unique new car and they go from dealership to dealership to dealership, and every dealership is negotiating a deal on the car they saw at the first dealership. They go to dealership A, they find the car they want, and they go, well, I'm going to shop around. They leave. The next dealership doesn't have that car in stock. They pull the closest vehicle. There's one over at dealership A, and they start negotiating off the price right there because they'll do a dealer trade. And they, well, I'm going to still look around. They go to dealer C. Dealer C is looking in dealer A's stock. So it's the same car. They're at 3 different dealerships getting 3 different set of numbers on a car they don't even know if they can get or not. Now, most of us are willing to trade cars. But I used to love it when you call up and go, so the customer's name is Derek Johnson, right? How'd you know that? Bro, he was here this morning. I've got the vehicle he wants, so no, you can't have it. So it's funny. So they'll go, why wouldn't you go out there and go, I've got the vehicle you're looking for. A lot of times when you come in, they don't have it. I wanted to send you a little short video or FaceTime you. Let me show you a couple of things we've added to the vehicle. Let me tell you live from me, not on a phone, not on a text, not on an email, live from me what my dealership does. Toyota gives you 2 years or 25,000 miles worth of Toyota Care. At our dealership, we extend that another full year. Therefore, if you drive a car on average, most people drive about 3 years before they start thinking about trading, then we cover you under maintenance for the full 3 years, and we think that's best for our customers. So anything that your dealership has to offer, you don't have to be sitting across the desk from me for me to tell you this, or our elbows sitting on the car, which you shouldn't do, but elbows sitting on the car discussing what the dealership does once you finally get here. Why are you waiting? If your dealership's really the best dealership in the United States, if your managers are really the best managers in the United States, if your ownership is the best ownership in the United States, and you have the best dealership in the United States, then why don't you make it an issue to make sure the customer understands why you feel that way before they ever leave to come to your dealership? When you look at the average salaries of the average salespeople in the average states, in the 50 states in the United States, the thing that really punches me pretty hard is when you're working 60 hours a week, give or take, more or less. But 60 is a good pivot for a sales associate. Why would you want to be average? Why wouldn't you want to do more things that get the customer to come do business with you before? They never have been to your store before. Why not have them come there? Last thing I'll say today is, why set an appointment when you can set a delivery? This has been PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.